everybody. It's so great to see you all. Thank you so much for being here in today's daily Antidote of Song. We're super glad to be welcoming David Roth back into the room. It's been a while since he's been with us, and we're very glad to have him here. And also so glad to have all of you here as well. Thank you so much for being here. Let's say hello to everybody out there on the live stream. Hello, folks on YouTube and folks on Facebook. We are glad you joined us today. And we are, in case you're new to us, the Daily Antidote of Song. We are one sing-along song, sometimes two, every day, some discussion, a place to come and find community and to talk about amongst ourselves the things that are going on in the world that are maybe either great, not great, confusing, or otherwise. And today will be no different. Maybe we get to talk a bit about love today. So let's all welcome David Roth. Amazing singer-songwriter coming out of Cape Cod, Massachusetts. He's been with us countless times here in the Daily, one of our dearest friends, and we're so glad he's here. Hello to Jen, coming in from somewhere. Nice to see you. I think that's Maryland. Hi, Deborah in Kentucky. Arlene in California. That's Berkeley. Becky in Vancouver. Delhi in Maryland. David and Elsie coming in from Oakland, California. Trish in the UK. What? Trish doesn't belong in the UK. She belongs in Vancouver, or Victoria. Nice to see you, Trish. Glad you're in UK. Pauline coming in from Newcastle, UK. Graham, oh, there's Barbara Dean. Hi, nice to see you. Glad you're here today. Coming in from Massachusetts. And Susan in Ohio. Hello, Donna. I don't remember where you're from. Nice to see you. Aloysius in Mass. Kate in Charlottesville. Sheila in North Florida. Carolyn in Boise, Idaho, reminding us that today is 1,490 days of consecutive singing here in the Daily Antidote of Song. That is precariously close to 1,500 days. So please do join us on May 14 when we celebrate 1,500 days. I'm also inviting everyone in the room to stay after today for a little fun chat. Sue Miller and anybody on the live stream who wants to come in the room and stay after with us for a little fun chat, please do. Sue Miller in Seattle, nice to see you. Ann in Nashville, Bob in Massachusetts, Jim in Maryland, nice to see you. Benet in Berkeley, California, Bob in Albany, Sarah in Texas, Kathleen in Albuquerque. I'm so excited to see all of you. There are some curly tops, at least 3 of them coming in from Vermont. Nice to see you. That's Don, Willard, and Leanna. Linda coming in from Orcas Island, Kevin in DC, Donna in Vermont, Bronwyn in Victoria, Kay in Texas. Hi, Linda. I'm not sure where you're coming in from. Glad to see you. Storm in Mass, Caroline in DC, Fred in Silver Spring, Nancy's Irish Cow in Washington State, Elizabeth in California, Gary in Mass. Hi, Tom. Nice to see you. Not sure where you're from. Glad you joined us. Kathy in Colorado. Oh, and Tom's friend over there. Hi, Tom's friend. Jamie in Victoria, Lynn in Connecticut, Isabel in Florida, Ann in Silver Spring, Maryland, Cricket in Maryland, Mabel and the Bears in Massachusetts, and James Clement coming in from Tacoma Park, Maryland. So glad to see all of you. Hello, everybody, let's do a deep breath. Probably James Clement would say, let's not do a deep breath, let's breathe a deep breath. So there you go, everybody. I am so excited to have David Roth back in the room. He's been traveling all around the universe and is finally back here in our midst. David, welcome. And what do you want to tell us today and sing with us?
Well, first thing I want to say is that I saw no less than 4 of you in the last 2 weeks in person. So I've confirmed the fact that many of us are 3-dimensional and have legs and all that kind of stuff, you know. So how wonderful to be on Orcas Island and in Seattle and a whole bunch of other places. So very happy to be back. I looked at my records and I think I haven't done a song since February. So, oh my goodness gracious, wonderful to be back here with my newly refurbished Martin nylon string guitar. I'm taking this guitar out for its paces. This is a beautiful instrument made in 1949 that someone gifted me, and I had it refurbished, and I'm just loving the sound and the feel of nylon strings. It's such a beautiful, different kind of thing for me. So that's the latest little update off the top of my head, and I guess we have a song to sing today.
I think that would be fabulous. You want to hold your guitar up again, and I'll actually make sure we're all getting a chance to see it.
And what's interesting about this, for you guitar geeks, is that the Martin logo is not on the front of the headstock, but on the back of the headstock, if you can see those letters there, which is a very curious place. I'd never seen that before.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's just a beautiful instrument. And the way I judge an instrument is if it makes me want to pick it up and play it. You know, if it invites me in, not just a guitar going, oh, I got to practice guitar again. Not like that. No. I really can't wait to pick up that guitar. And that's what this guitar is like for me.
Beautiful. So,
Yeah.
David Roth, what do you have for us today, and what do you want to tell us about it before we start singing?
Well, being the spreadsheet nerd that I am, I've kept track of all the songs I've sung on the Daily Antidote song in the last 4 years, and I never want to repeat one. So I was very surprised I was going to write one for today, but I was surprised to know that I'd never done this one before. This goes back a few years, this song called Here We Are. And I was invited to a low-income housing community on the Cape. Yes, we have them here. Uh, Several years ago to do a songwriting workshop with the teenagers there. The director said that they were starting to turn in less than positive directions, drugs, violence, not healthy behavior, and he thought that inviting me out to spend a couple hours might be of benefit to somebody. And I thought, folk music and teenagers. Is he out of his mind? But I said yes, because I know that through what I call my doorway of discomfort, there will be something good on the other side for somebody. It doesn't have to be me, and it's much better than sprinting sideways, So I went through that doorway, and about a week before the workshop, John called me up and said, I got 14 teenagers signed up for this workshop, and I thought, fantastic. But I was going to just show up and just with my guitar and see where we were. So when I got there that day, there were 15 chairs all in a circle in the common room, one for me and 14 for the teenagers, and not one of them showed up. Not one. But the chairs were full. The preteens, 6 years old to 12 years old, had heard there was going to be music in the day room, and they didn't have much in the way of programs there back then. And these kids weren't in their seats. They were on the edge of their seats when I walked in, and they said, "Are you the music man?" I said, "I guess I am." And what are we going to do today? I said, "Well, my name's David. I'm a songwriter. Would you guys like to spend the next hour writing a song together?" 14 kids. How many hands do you think went up?
14.
28. Exactly. They were very excited. So in about 45 minutes, and it was right around the time of what would have been Woody Guthrie's 100th birthday. So in his honor, we made it a call and response song, which is why you won't see the words to this song in your chat, and you can look me in the eye instead while we sing, because all you got to do is sing to me what I sing to you. And there's no need to read anything in the chat while we're singing. So you ready to give it a go? And I love this song so much. I might stop a couple of times to let you know where we introduce the concept of rhyme, so that these new songwriters could get an idea that sometimes you might want to rhyme in a song. Not necessarily all the time, and this is where I disagree with Stephen Sondheim, but that's another discussion for another day. All right, here goes something. You guys ready? All right. Goes like this. Here we are, here today. Here to sing, here to play, make this world a better place for me and you and the human race. If you had a bad day, you could turn it around, play some tunes, crank up the sound, hand in hand, lost and found, turn your frown upside down. Oh, know that we can be ourselves. And here we stopped. I said, kids, what a great line. One of these kids came up with that. Know that we can be ourselves. What more is there to be? I said, but now let's put on our rhyming hat. We need a word that rhymes with selves, kids. And of course they said elves. And I said, okay, I need a minute on this. And they said, no, Mr. Roth. I said, call me David. They said, we got this. So I sang, know that we can be ourselves. They sang, wizards, fairies, ninjas, warlocks, and elves. 14 kids, pretty neat. Let's write this song, and then let's eat. Let's have some fun in the sun. Love our world, love our town. Let's go green, save the bees, save the whales, save the trees. Oh, let's have some chicken pot pie. Oh, another nice word, kids. What are we going to rhyme with pie? And the words flew, sky, I, my, and then a little 10-year-old boy, I'm guessing, glasses, I'll never forget him, said, "Mr. Roth," I said, "Call me David." He said, "I've got this." And he gave me one of the greatest lines of any song I'd ever heard of any genre. I only wish I'd thunk it. I sang, "Let's have some chicken pot pie." He sang, "We'll have lunch with the FBI. Then we can fly in the sky, in the sky. My, oh my, everybody, FBI." And here we see a turkey giving thanks for you and me, 'cause we won't eat him today. Vegetarian's okay. Move around a disco dance. Take a risk and take a. May you have a perfect feast, and may our world have perfect peace. Here we are, here today, here to sing, here to play, make this world a better place for me and you and the human race. For me and you and the human race. Right here on Earth, in outer. For me and you and the human race.
Woo! David Roth, everybody. That was a blast, David. Thank you so much.
Fun. I've been singing that song for years. It's so much fun.
It was a lot of fun, and actually it was super fun to watch. People actually like laughing, like getting, like, there's the moment where you say the line and it takes a second to register, and then you see people, like I was watching heads go back and like people actually really enjoying it. It was really super fun.
Imagine
So
people enjoying singing. Just can't
yeah,
imagine.
yeah, hard to imagine actually. So David Roth, we always enjoy being in this room with you, no matter what you're bringing us, whether you're bringing us funny stuff or thoughtful stuff or both at the exact same time. So do you want to talk a little bit more about sort of how you're feeling right now in the sort of universe of complexity of the universe?
Better turn the microphone off. It's complicated. That's all I can say. I continue to be in search of respectful, and it's coming from every angle. So my hope is that we can all hear one another, and that we don't chew on all the sound bites that are flying around from every direction. Soundbite is one thing, but chewing on them is another. That takes some participation. So I'm doing my best not to have knee-jerk reactions to all the stuff that I hear. And again, how many times have we talked about this? The truth is so hard to determine in this world today. Messages that are being put forth in big ways I believe, are being purchased in a lot of ways, and we're getting, no matter what I'm watching, or actually, I got my life back about 3 years ago when we disconnected our cable TV, so that I can not stick my head in the sand, but still pay enough attention to what's going on, but only as much attention as will allow me to form my own thoughts, opinions based on my feelings and my gut. Yeah, it's complicated, but my hope is for ongoing respectful discussions from all sides.
That's beautiful. Thank
And
you.
it's easier said than done.
Easier said than done, but I have to say, like, I'm not actually generally a big podcast listener, but I've been sort of delving into stuff, trying to exactly be on the receiving end of thoughtful discussion or subtle discussion or discussions about peace, and there's a lot out there right now that actually has been surprising me, where there's like movements of folks who are trying to actually sort of get to the heart of the thing rather than talking about all the sort of dogma that's wrapped all around all of the like independent pieces. It's actually very moving how much wisdom there is out there. I'm not sure why it's not always floating to the top, but we can keep trying.
Yeah, I think wisdom requires more depth of thought, rather than pre-digested politics or opinions that are easy to latch onto, especially when you're in a circle of people that you feel like you share common sensibilities with. So deeper thought on any number of subjects for me is always a good opportunity to get around, those little catchphrases that are so popular, these days. When I hear those, I start running in the opposite direction because I've heard them before. I know that they might cause me to limit the depth of my thinking on something. So,
Yep, it's really great. Sometimes there's so much noise, it's hard to recenter yourself in the
mhm.
subtleties or in the, complexities. So it's a really good thing to turn the noise off sometimes. And
Yeah, I've talked about before, volume does not equal consensus. And yes, friends, I did put that in a song for another day. Uh, uh, the loudest voices are not necessarily the ones who represent the most people. In fact, for my money, most people in this world are good-hearted people who mean others no harm and are perplexed at the leadership of various governments in the world who are taking them on personal journeys of power and manipulation.
yeah, beautiful. Thank you, David, for all of that sharing. It's really just, it's so delightful to talk to you and to have your calming presence and your thoughtful presence in the space with us. And so I think you've been journeying. Shall we chat about that quickly before we sing again? You want to tell us where you've been and where you're going?
I was in Washington and Oregon, for 11 appearances in 10 days. Yes, the math is not off. I did a double header on that trip. One of my favorite venues in any given year is the Istanbul Rug Bazaar on the Oregon coast, which is run by a man from Turkey who had a carpet business in Portland, and he went out to this little coastal town where there's barely a diner that closed and a few general stores and all this and that, but he loved it out there so much he moved all his rugs out to the coast and he bought an art gallery where I used to play every year. So now the Thomas Goodwin Art Gallery is the Istanbul Rug Bazaar, and after he inherited me and I played the first time there, I've been going to the Oregon coast every April for 20 years now, like all those other places, because we used to live in Seattle in the 90s. He said, I loved this so much. Please tell me you'll come back every year. And he gave me a Turkish rug. I mean, I've been paid, I've done free shows, I've done pro bono, I sing for causes I believe in, I've been paid for this and that. I got paid with 2 bags of dog food once from the IAM's pet food company regarding a song about a flatulent pooch that used to live in our house. But I've never been paid with a Turkish rug before, so I'm adding to the list, of compensations that I'm very proud of. So the Rug Bazaar was one of those 11 gigs, and I love Washington and Oregon. Lots of beautiful people. I've been in this game long enough. I see a few other baby boomers on the screen here. That 20 years of doing that and 35 years of doing this. Every night there's a reunion with somebody I've known for a long time. It's not just playing a date somewhere, but I get to see people who I've been acquainted with or known a little bit more for a long time. So we have a track record and history together. And even though the interactions are brief, they're very meaningful to see one another on a regular basis. I'm sure you experience this, Joe, when you're out and about, especially with this incredible program, when you meet people who come running up to you and probably hurl themselves at you and going, the Daily Antidote of Song has been life-saving for me, like Issei Barnwell said on your website. So that's rewarding and gratifying. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, that's actually a beautiful way of saying it. I have to say, I'm going to guess you feel the same way. Like, it never gets old when somebody says, like, what you're doing has affected me and is like something that helps carry me through. Like, nobody could say that enough times, right? Like, it just puts that strength in underneath what you're doing. So on the hard days or on the long days, you've got some place to lean.
Yeah, and starting this like up 40 years ago, I didn't know it at the time, but I was sprinkling little seeds. I didn't even know. But now, 40 years later, 30 years later, they are all in full bloom in the faces of the people that I meet. My flowers and plants have come to full bloom, and from the seeds that I sprinkled and they watered along the way. So it's really a beautiful garden. I feel very lucky. I've worked really hard, and luck, I once heard a great description by a former National Football League player. It said luck was the intersection of opportunity and persistence. And that was Raymond Berry, who used to coach the New England Patriots. Luck, the intersection of opportunity and persistence.
That's
So,
really great. Love it. Is there anybody in the room who met David on his tour? Wave now wildly. We'd love to see who you. Okay, I see at least two. I see three. I see four people. Wave five. Okay, that's
Let me
awesome.
say hi to Linda on Orcas, Sue in Seattle, Tom and Diane on my beloved Orcas Island also. That was quite a night there, that little Episcopal Parish Hall, I'll tell you.
It's awesome. All right, so who else waved? I saw some more hands. Keep going. Oh, yep, there's Susan in Cincinnati. Anybody else? I think there was another hand I saw. So that's just awesome. It's so great that you guys all get to meet. And I'm glad to say that we got a lot of pictures from these encounters. So hold on to your hats because we're going to be sending them all out soon in one of our e-newses. All right, David. So
Joe.
it's Saturday and people might have things they need to do. Should we sing again?
Yeah, but I want to read a quote before I do.
Oh, goody.
I want to see how many of you, what you think of this quote. These are not my words, but I'm reading them. It sounds to me like they were written yesterday or even this morning, but I'm going to read you these words, if I may. Here we go. One of the great liabilities of history is that all too many people fail to remain awake through great periods of social change. Every society has its protectors of status quo and its fraternities of the indifferent, who are notorious for sleeping through revolutions. Today, our very survival depends on our ability to stay awake, to adjust to new ideas, to remain vigilant and face the challenge of change. Today, Dr. Martin Luther King in the 1960s. These words still give me a chill, and I've been reading this quote at my concerts of late, just as a reminder about the fraternities of the indifferent, and sleeping through revolutions. So it's my job, one of my parts of my job is to remain awake and to pay attention to all that's going on around us, not just the chaos and tumult, but the beauty, which is not to be overlooked. So. Oops, I think you're on mute, Joe. I don't hear you.
Hi there. So yeah, I was just saying that it was so beautiful, and I love the opportunity to be able to think with you. You bring so much great energy and inspiration to this space, and we need this, I think, right, just as much right now for that notion of like sitting thoughtfully within the things that we hear and reprocessing and thank you, David. Shall we keep chatting or shall we maybe sing since
I
we're
think it's like a little social opportunity after this. So why don't we sing one more time in case there's anybody who's got something else to do today. I've got to repair the deck. I've got to build a wheelbarrow. I've got important things like that to do. And then I'm actually speaking at a church tomorrow morning, so I'm going to in Rhode Island. So I've got to figure out what I'm going to say. But darn it, I'm going to be reading that Dr. King quote. I promise you that. All right, you guys ready? All right, I won't stop in the choruses this time because you know the punchlines, but here goes something. If you're lucky enough to be sharing the room with somebody right now, have some harmony with each other, just the way that we do with one another. Again, I'm so grateful to be with you all today from world headquarters of David Roth Music, otherwise known in the basement of our house, complete with fiberglass insulation uncovered and all kinds of other stuff. This menorah used to hang in my father's apartment in Chicago, so I have that up there, and there's me and my sister sitting in Jimmy Durani's lap, and there's the toilet paper and paper towels, you see, so it's all here. All right, here goes something. Here we are, here today, here to sing, here to play, make this world a better place for me and you and the human race. If you had a bad day, you can turn it around, play some tunes, crank up the sound, hand in hand, lost and found, turn your frown upside down. Oh, know that we can be ourselves. Wizards, fairies, ninjas, warlocks, and elves. 14 kids, pretty neat. Let's write this song and then let's eat. Let's have some fun in the sun. Love our world, love our town. Let's go green, save the bees, save the whales, save the trees. Oh, let's have some chicken pot pie. Remember this? We'll have lunch with the FBI. We can fly in the sky. My, oh my, FBI. And here we see a turkey giving thanks for you and me, 'cause we won't eat him today. Vegetarian's okay. Move around a disco dance. Take a risk and take a chance. May you have a perfect feast, and may our world have perfect peace. Here we are, here today, here to sing, here to play, make this world a better place for me and you and the human race. For me and you and the human race. Right here on Earth, in outer, for me and you and the human race.
Thank you so much, David Roth. Please, everybody, let's give it up for David.
Still fun.
Still amazing.
Yeah.
So thank you, David, for bringing us all of that today. I am so much better of a person now for having spent the last half an hour with you. And I am gonna just make a quick announcement again. I'm inviting folks to stay after today for a few more announcements. Anybody out there on the live stream, if you're interested, come on into the room. You can go to Carpe Diem Arts Daily Antidote of Song and click on Join Us in the Virtual Room, and you'll find us here. So thanks, folks on the live stream, for joining us today too. So,
Joe, if I may say, I'll be in the Midwest in June, and I'll also be in Pennsylvania in June a little bit. So if anybody's within striking distance, go to my website, davidrothmusic.com, and see what's happening in June, July, and beyond. You know, our songwriting camp is all sold out for the end of July, but we can take commuters if you can get anywhere to us in the Connecticut Berkshires. So lots of stuff going on.
beautiful.
Drop me a note. I'll fill you in.
Great, thank you. Okay, so we'll get David's website in the chat and in the comments out there on live stream land. And thanks for sharing that, David. I hope that lots of folks will come and find you when you're out and about. And I'm sure I will be trying very hard to morph my schedule to be able to do that too. So, all right, everybody ready? Let's say another thank you to David. Thanks so much for being with us today. And a big thank you again to everybody out there on the live stream. Thanks for joining us. We're going to say goodbyes, but we welcome again anybody to stay in the room who can. So thanks, David Roth, coming in from Cape Cod and bring all this beauty. So you hinted at another song. You gave us a few little lines that I think hopefully in June or July, you'll also be back in here because I think we need that song. So hope
I also want to bring the singing dog on to do Home on the Range. So just tell me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, of course. There must be Singing Dog Day. We'll figure out when that is. All right. Linda on Orcas Island, thanks for being here today. Martha in Oregon, Sue in Seattle. Jen, thanks for being here, I think from Maryland. Donna in Vermont, thank you. Susan in Cincinnati. Deborah in Kentucky. Arlene in California. David and Elsie, also California. Barbara in Massachusetts, I think. Pauline in Newcastle. UK, thank you for being here today. Maybe William over there in the background. Tom and friend, I'm sorry I don't know your name, but I'm glad you guys are both here. Donna, I think coming in from Tacoma Park, Maryland. So glad to have you back in the room, Donna. Sheila in North Florida, Annette in California, Carolyn in Boise, Idaho, Ann in Nashville, Dawn and the Curly Tops, Jim Harkless, Benet in California. Bob, thank you so much for being here today from Albany, New York, and I just lost my place. I'm going to try, and there we are. Sarah in Texas, Kathleen in Albuquerque, Becky in Vancouver, Cricket in Maryland, Jamie in Victoria, Caroline in DC, Fred in Maryland, Diane coming in from Puerto Rico, Trish in UK, recently from Victoria, Storm coming in from Massachusetts, Ann in Silver Spring, Gary in Mass, Athena in Brooklyn, Deli in Maryland, Kevin in DC, Aloysius in Massachusetts, Linda, glad you're with us today. I can't remember where you're from, but I'm so glad you're here. Nancy in Washington State, Elizabeth in California, Lynn in Connecticut, Isabel in Florida. Hello, James in Tacoma Park, Maryland, Kat in Vermont, Marcia in Huntsville, Ontario, and Kathy coming in from Colorado. Thanks again, everybody. Big wave to the live stream. See you all tomorrow right here on the Daily Antidote Song.